we have Thomas Gidlow, and I have hit the unmute button on Thomas.
Well, howdy, sir.
How do you feel about having been muted for that short time? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I was fine with that. That was fine. I think I can handle that.
Think you can handle that? Thomas
think...
and I have been chatting throughout this a little bit, so we're not going to bring up some of the details, are we?
No, probably not. Probably best left unsaid.
Yeah. So how's it going this evening?
I'm good. I'm quite honored to be the final guest on the show tonight, and it's been good. It's been good. I've enjoyed it. I've been talking with some friends while I've been listening and jotting down a note or two here or there. So it's been a very good experience. It's very nice of you to be doing this.
Well, I appreciate that. Do you have any critiques for me? Be frank.
No, I was actually thinking. I think I actually commented to you that you have a radio voice, which is very important.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Right, yeah, okay. You definitely have the voice for it. And no, you have a very commanding presence. You're directing it along, keeping things smooth. And that's the hardest thing, because I've done it very amateurishy before. And it can be a challenge, especially when somebody comes on that you kind of have to guide along a little bit and isn't as full as you want to be. You got to snap right into that next question. So you're doing a good job.
And thank you. And this is the first time I've done a show where I've had so many guests and trying to segment it and stuff. Coming in right on time. I will ask that you give me the last 2 minutes to thank everybody, but that leaves you with 20 minutes and 27 seconds.
Good gracious. What am I going to do with all of that time?
You're going to tell us about your projects, why your projects are the way they are, why you're the way you are, and, I don't know, whatever else.
Well, gee, where do I start with that? Give you my life story pretty much. Long story short, I have not been really in the filmmaking thing for a very long time. I started in 2008. Started very basic and amateurish. I saw perusing around YouTube one night, as I often did back then, still do sometimes, and saw something on YouTube called Project Direct, and told myself, hey, I've got a camcorder and I've got a little tiny microphone that I slide into my computer, and I'm like, I can make a movie. So plus Darren Aronofsky was, I think, running it at the time, and I was kind of a fan of the wrestler, so I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Wrote a bunch of notes down on a piece of cardboard paper, and I was working for an entertainment company at the time. We ran free poker games in the Raleigh area, so I went to the bar that I was running it at and used all my friends, and it was a great time. We got back down here to the beach. Me and my brother edited it together, put it in. We didn't get in to the final voting or anything like that, but it was a pleasant experience, got a lot of feedback, and decided that I wanted to do it a little bit more professionally. So 2009 we started Skyward Cinema, and that's really, haven't looked back since.
That is awesome.
That's the short
version. Very similar for me as well. Me and a buddy of mine, we decided to build a studio because, why not? And we found a cheap place to rent, and it was just an empty space. We built the walls and put the sheetrock up and painted it and all that stuff. And, well, then, we had a studio. So
there you go. It's 4 walls and a door. You got to get out. You have to have a door. But,
So I heard of a film meetup Amanda Hoey was hosting, and there I met Jennifer Rizzoli, and she invited me to a 48-hour bit. And it's been full steam ahead since then. That's where Maurice was just on. I just worked with him there, worked with Rex there, Jackson Zito, and this girl named Dana Williamson was there. She was kind of annoying.
Sure, she's gonna love you saying that.
Yeah, she's probably listening in. But seriously, my first gig ever, I meet the love of my life, and we've been together ever since.
Well, you can't beat that.
So it's cool. Both of us just said, hey, I'm going to do it. And I think that's you can do that. A lot of people are going to crap out, but
well, I think it is important to have some basic support. I mean, it's really hard to go out there, all by yourself and just be like, you can have the most positive attitude in the world. people that know me, I'm sort of an eternal optimist. I like to look at things, the glass half full, all the time, no matter what the situation is. But you can't always. You have to have a little bit of help at the very least to get yourself kind of, when you're down or not feeling so well, you have that person you can talk to, and at the very least, and kick yourself back up a little bit.
Amanda just texted me. I think I murdered her name.
I was going to say, it's dead air. I guess we got a technical difficulty sign coming out with, like, the birds going around the guy's head or something.
It's Amanda Hoey, not Hoey. She's not a hoe. So, sorry, Amanda. A good friend of mine works with Amanda, and he calls her Chips. Anyway, I'm not going to get her in trouble. She's going to kick my butt. So that got you into film. When was it that you realized that, hey, not only is this fun, but I'm good at this?
I don't know if I've gotten quite there yet. I like to think that, it's a continuing work in progress. That I was actually, it's weird that you mentioned that, because I was thinking about that the other day. Spielberg and, whoever, the best directors of the day, I'm sure, are not sitting back thinking, well, I've just hit the pinnacle and I'm never going to get any better than this. I think one of the things that's very important to kind of keep in the back of your mind is that you can always learn something, and you can always improve. So I don't know if I'm quite at that level yet, but I was very encouraged really early on. I think we had a very good attention to detail as far as, like, putting our all of our information out there for potential actors. The first film we did, Victor James, which we shot in late 2009, early 2010. We started casting in the summer of 2009, and we were getting people, from all over the place. It wasn't just North Carolina. We had people from New York and Kentucky and Virginia and Pennsylvania that were interested in coming down, and we had put pretty much all of the details out there. We told them that, hey, this is my first film. It's not really a sort of thing where we're going to be paying you. We can try to do little minimal things to help you out here and there, but we were able to assemble one heck of a cast, and I really think that foundation has been key, at least personally, maybe a little selfishly for me, because we were able to really build off of that with a cast. We had Robert Kraft, who is not local, but he's the guy from Kentucky. But local guys on our first film, guys like Lee Armstrong and Jeff Briggs and Jody Vines. I mean, you really can't get much better than that. I think everybody that's even thought about making a film here knows who those three guys are. So to be able to have those guys on your first film, it's really tough to beat that.
Yeah, indeed. I mentioned earlier I got real lucky with my cast, and you can't beat it. If you got the people, it's kind of like making that great cake. If the ingredients are there, you can do something with it. And they did far more than I did, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, well, especially in your first one. I mean, you look back, you think at the time, like, man, this is a really good script, I really like it. You look back on it 3 or 4 years later, it's like, what in the world were you thinking? But, definitely the actors just, they took the script, incoherent ramblings from me, and really turned it into at least something you could watch and felt, the quality of the film may not have been the greatest, but, at least you were entertained by their performances because they were able to make it as good as they could make it.
So you talk about looking back and going, geez, what was that about? Can you give some details around that?
Well, absolutely. This thing would have never first and foremost. There's a lady named Susan Plunkett who's from Australia. I met her on Twitter, oddly enough, of all the places, because back then I was a Twitter freak, not so much anymore. But when I had first started, it was a 45-page script for a short film, which in and of itself is a bit lengthy. But it was basically written like a novel. I had this brilliant idea that I was gonna make this awesome hybrid novel script, and everybody was just gonna fall in love with it. And it's so detailed, and lo and behold, I sent it to her because she offered to take a look at it and help me sort of, get it into form. And she did everything she could to make me not feel like I was the worst writer in the world. But basically, she told me, you can't take this and expect it to send it off to anybody without anybody laughing you in the face.
So you found out there's a reason people don't do that, right?
Well, at the time, idealistic as I am usually,
right.
It didn't cross my mind. But she snapped me back really, really good, and I tell you, she somehow formed that blob of text and got it into a form that, was able to at least attract the level of talent that we did. So it's always a work in progress. I like to think that I'm a little further ahead now than I was then, but that's pretty much the way it is with anything.
Now, you do have a lot of things going on. I see you post about poker. Give us a little bit about that.
Oh, the poker. Well, I've had quite a bit of a background in free poker leagues. I first started with World Tavern Poker. They're a big outfit nationally, really, but they started in Raleigh with one bar, and now they're this national thing. Started running games for them in the Raleigh area, then moved over to another company called Pub Poker, and stopped in 2008. The economy was in the tank. Nobody was, it was a really tough time, and that's really when I started doing all of this stuff. But I've kept in touch with all of that. There's another league that's in the Wilmington area. It's called Port City Poker. I've been talking with them about working with them a little bit. I do dabble here and there playing-wise, not so much anymore, not as much lately as I used to, but I still, every once in a blue moon, will go out to Wilmington and play a game, but looking to, continue to work with those folks to help get them a little bit more exposure, add some administrative stuff to them. It's just something I like to do.
Any dreams of the final table?
Oh, you know it. I think anybody that's, whether you play online or live, the ultimate goal is, World Series, final table.
I don't even really play, and I'm like, man, I'm going to be there one day. I'm going to do it.
It's always a dream. You always think, well, once it's over with, it's like, okay, 2013, somehow, some way, $10,000 bucks, I'm there. And then when it doesn't happen, it's the same thing next year.
2014.
That's right. It'll happen one day soon.
Now, how many projects you have going on film-wise right now?
Right now, we have got quite a bit. We've got quite an ambitious thing called, what we're calling it is the Skyward series. And it's 9 or 10, I don't even know the exact count, 9 or 10 short films about 3 to 6 minutes in length. And the plan right now is to take February, March, and April pretty much every weekend. Every other weekend or so. There's a little bit of time in March that I won't be able to do anything, but excuse me. But we're going to be hardcore filmmaking, all of these short films, and the plan is to be able. I'm very fortunate to be in a situation where I live with my dad and his girlfriend, and able to use the house, the surrounding areas, and I've adapted several stories to this location and some other ancillary locations, but they're all around here. And what we're going to do is we're going to film every weekend. We're going to edit those. And the big thing about this is that, and what we're trying to use to attract a lot of people to get some interest in this for actors, crew, is that we're going to be putting these on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and they're going to be co-promoted by my brother Daniel Gidlow, who has found a lot of success on the YouTubes, as he calls it. He has over 250,000 subscribers. He's going to make update videos for each film. Oh. He's going to tweet out links. So we're going to try to get as many people as possible to see these short films, and that's really what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to build a solid foundation to be able to move forward. Because we did 2 shorts. They turned out really well. We're still working on Uncivil, getting that into film festivals. But we tried to take that and go right into a feature, and it's just the foundation wasn't there. So we're kind of resetting with this Skyward series, and hope that'll help us propel us into being able to do a feature film.
Now, you do plan on having all the cast their demo reels in 2 weeks, right?
In 2 weeks, I think that was. I don't know if that was a point of contention of something we ever discussed, but I know I've had this discussion with at least 1 or 2 people.
No, it was me. We had a good time.
I'll talk about it if you want me to. I like the idea behind it because, frankly, this could go in all kinds of different directions, but I'll keep it. I'll keep it limited to demo reels. 2 weeks is a little tight, especially something like this, because we're going to be. We want the short film to come out maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. So if we shoot all of these short films and we're editing constantly, it's going to be a bit difficult. Now, having said that, though, it's very important that if you have actors that you're going to utilize that are buying into basically what you're trying to do to try to elevate everybody involved, and you tell them you're going to get a demo reel for it, there's an expectation there that you need to do it in a certain amount of time. We also do have agreements in place. They sign an agreement where we put everything out, in writing that they are to receive, so that at the very least there's some security there that they feel like, hey, this person just put that in writing. They mean what they say. They're not just going to tell me that, and then 3 months later I don't hear a word from them. If it was a regular short film where we didn't have anything else going on, weeks later, 2 weeks isn't that difficult, I don't think, depending on the length of the short film. But as long as you agree to give them that demo reel in a short amount of time, most people that I've talked to seem to be fine with that.
Yeah, and I was just throwing that back when I made that first statement. I was just throwing the number out there because I was really making the same point you're making. Actors and even crew, especially if they're working for free, and show them some love. Get it done. Make them a priority. Otherwise, I think you deserve to have the reputation of, I'm not going to work for you. And actors, they want to act. People want to work in this state, and they're going to do it anyway. But all of us directors and producers out there, let's see to that. Let's take care of the people.
Well, see, now, I've been very, very lucky because on my first film, I was very fortunate to get some really, really good advice. And I talked to this person very extensively before we filmed. And he let me know that he had done a lot of independent films, and he might have seen 20% of the demo reels from all the films that he was promised.
Right.
And from that point, that really hammered it home. And I was lucky to hear that on my first film, because ever since then, that's really been, that really has been my focus. It's about everybody that is taking the time away from their families, their jobs, spending their time to come, not necessarily, it's not about my vision, it's about everybody coming together, agreeing and working towards a common goal. And when that happens, it's unbelievable. There's no better feeling than seeing everybody working as a cohesive unit because everybody believes in what they're doing, and that's really what we're trying to do. That's really what we're about.
Yeah, it is a wonderful feeling. It's family. You kind of love these people once they've bought in and paid the respect and shared their abilities and talents with your work. It's
there's no
sad
doubt
when somebody has something of worth to contribute to someone's demo reel and they just sit on it because their work's done. It's not their priority to help these people, and it's a shame. Now, so you got all these projects going on. We're kind of wrapping up at the end of our time.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the challenges you see in filming in North Carolina?
That's a pretty general question. I think there are challenges in place. And again, maybe this is just, a little naive of me. But, for whatever the challenges are that are in place, I feel like, for me personally, this is just my opinion, I am going to succeed. And I'm not going to succeed because of, doing it the way that, it may be a different way than other people do it. But I want to, I'm extremely driven to making this work and working with the people of this area, who I feel very strong, I've been very vocal, anybody who will listen, that the people that are in this area, the talent that exists in this area, can not only be in a film, they can drive the film, and they can be, they can be the front end of the film so that people see it, and they're, it's like the whole Hollywood thing. It was actually very refreshing to hear, the earlier people that were interviewed about, they don't use the actors very prominently. They're always background extras or something of that nature, or more often than not they're used in the background. But I think the main thing, to sum it up, is if you really truly have a goal in mind and you want to succeed, you will succeed. I think it's that simple. I think there's a lot of things in between that you need to have happen, and you need to work hard, but whatever the obstacles are in the way, we are going to succeed. That's how I feel about it.
All right, a little time we have left. We got about a minute for this. What do you see happening that you go, okay, I've kind of done my dream? Is there a level of success? Do you have to hit the theaters? What is your landmark?
Yeah, I mean, I think ideally, ultimately, you want to see it on a national world stage as far as theaters are concerned. I kind of liken it to being, now this is a vague wrestling reference, probably nobody will understand, but they always say that if you're going to be in the WWE, if you're not going for the WWE Championship, you shouldn't be there. And I feel like if your goal, now there's nothing wrong with doing it, part-time amateur for fun, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in this seriously, then your goal should be the top. And I keep going back to it, but I feel that the talent exists here in this area to be able to start from the beginning and eventually work to that area where we have made a film that will be seen on a national level and perhaps even an international level. That's really the goal for us. I want our films to be right up there eventually with anything else that you would see in a theater.
And that is a fine goal. For myself, I'd like to make enough money, to buy a small island like Australia.
Well, the money thing comes. That's really not the. It depends. Really, it's up to whoever.
I would like to watch it and it look right, and it sounds right, and for me, it's about the actors. I want the actors to come up and say, I'm proud to be a part of this film. The money is important, but for me, that would mean the world to me.
Well, and not only that, just real quickly, if somebody that was in the film that we just did, ends up in the next blockbuster, that would be amazing. That's the ultimate proof that, hey, this person can lead a film. Now watch them go.